is the primary responsibility of state. Countries that have signed the 1951 Convention on the Status of the Refugee, which is also known as the Magna Carta of the Refugee Law, are obliged to protect refugees on their territory and treat them according to internationally recognized standards. We are all gathered here for a detailed discussion on the 1951 Convention on the Status of Refugee and also witness various papers to be presented today with us.
The Chairperson, former Registrar, University of North Bengal. I humbly request Ms. Sufia Sheikh.
We would like to ask our chairperson for presenting our last presenter. Thank you. We have Mr. Rituraj Bhaval, Assistant Professor of Law, Indian Institute of Legal Studies, Research Scholar, Department of Law, North Bengal University, presenting his paper titled as Interface Between Artificial Intelligence and Governance of Displaced Person, a Study of Legal Challenge and Global Framework.
Before you start, this is not proper. The research scholar, Department of Law.
Towards this Indian Institute of Legal Studies for providing me this opportunity. Now, when we hear the term, these two terms, artificial intelligence and displaced person.
Very nicely said about how AI is able to just protect refugees identification. But you think that in countries like India, like where refugees and migrants are just fighting for their basic rights, so is it practically possible in India to fairness to the human vulnerability or not?
Who's the fairness to?
Fairness to the human vulnerability as defined by the UN.
It has a escape.
What are the key considerations for international law and policy to ensure AI technology?
We thank all delegates for their presentation in this technical session today.
We would now be honored to request the Chairperson, Professor Dr. Dilip Kumar Sarkar, to address the delegates and give us his insightful perspective and enlighten us with his closing remarks for the present technical session.
So as the time is running out or running short, and it is almost evening outside, so I would be very curt. From the very morning, the large August Assembly in the inauguration session, and the way the speakers spoke, in fact, nothing is left in general to say. But the paper displacement, meaning the loss of a place where human beings live. But it is not.
We would now be honored to request the chairperson, Dr. Shivang Dorji Lama, to enlighten us with his closing remarks for the technical session as well.
Thank you very much. After Sir has spoken, I think I would not like to add anything more. But I think that would be, again, giving Miss a chance to interact with the students at the most. First and foremost, I would thank you very much
for your wonderful and thoughtful curated words.
Now I would request Ms. Sufia Sheikh, Assistant Professor of Law, to present the token of appreciation to Professor Dr. Dilip Kumar Sarkar, our Chairperson for the present technical session.
In protecting the human rights and the constitutional rights of migrants and internally displaced persons.
The next speaker would come. I prefer
The warning bell at a mark of 8 minutes and a final bell at the end of 10 minutes. The remaining 2 minutes will be used for the question-answer session.
With the permission of the both the chairpersons, we would like to call upon Dr. Noma Lundu, Assistant Professor of Law, ICFA University, Sikkim, for a paper titled as Role of State in Protecting the Human Rights of Refugees and Migrants.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries.
Dr. Priya Roy, Assistant Professor, Department of Law, Raigand University.
To safeguard the rights and well-being of the women and children in Palestine.
It is human rights or two-state solution.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, with the due permission of the chairperson, we will be moving on to the next paper to be presented by Ms. Rachna Dhar, Assistant Professor of Law, Indian Institute of Legal Studies, Coach Bihar, with a paper titled as Role of State in Protecting Human Rights of the Migrant Workers, a critical analysis with special reference to human trafficking.
A very good evening to respected dignitaries, organizers and lovely audience. Today, I stand before you all to present my paper titled